Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Yo, the way I'm sweating. I've been setting up the lights and whatever. As you can see, things are looking a little different today. I'm sitting on my couch. It's not the normal setup that you guys are used to where we normally do like a tutorial and whatnot. Today we're having a sit down. In fact, it's like an introduction to what I plan to do going forward as one of the offerings on my channel. I'm going to invite a few people to come and sit with me on my couch, and we can learn from each other. I think as things evolve and as things are changing and the state of our economy, I think a lot of us ladies are finding ourselves feeling a bit stuck. I don't know if maybe it's just me, but I'm feeling like there's a need for more. That suddenly the money that you make from your 9 to 5 is not enough, and so you need to find other avenues of bringing in extra revenue somehow. And from all the books I've read, from the podcasts I've listened to of people who've made it and like billionaires, multimillionaires, the one thing they always advise is that have multiple streams of income. And that's the one thing that I've been wanting to explore. I have a 9 to 5, and most of you know that I am also the owner of a beauty brand. Well, it's not necessarily a beauty brand, but it's a lifestyle brand called Millionaire. At the moment, yes, I do offer just makeup, but the plan is to expand the brand into more than just beauty. I want it to be a brand where women come and impart knowledge, where women come and seek knowledge, where women come and network, find themselves, and this is all facets of life, by the way. We're not just talking money, but anything else that may affect you as a woman. I think, if anything, being a woman is not the easiest of things. I was talking to a colleague of mine whose daughter was turning 6 a few days ago, and he was saying it's such a scary world to be bringing up a girl. And the fact is that as a woman, as a girl child, your challenges are laid ahead of you, and it just feels like, just when you think, oh, being black is challenging, being black and being a woman is extra challenging. And how do you break yourself out of those cycles that have just seemed to continue within our generations, within our communities? And I think the only way we can break ourselves out of those cycles is by creating little networks where we are able to grow each other, where we are able to help each other grow. And it doesn't hurt to take another woman's hand and say, hey, come, let me show you. I have expertise in that. I have expertise in this. I've recently joined a chat group. I'm in the media industry. I'm in advertising. And there's a media group called Black Media Excellence. And the one thing that I am appreciating about that group is that people come and they kind of offer their services. So someone will say, hey, I'm a copywriter. Someone will say, hey, I'm a producer, I'm a graphic designer, I'm whatever. And it's in doing that we build a community of these black people who are in this industry that, quite honestly, it is a white dominated industry. And though things are changing, and though you see that the faces of the people who are the decision makers in the industry, especially in advertising, are changing. I've been in the industry 12 years now. When I started, I used to have very difficult conversations with clients around brands like Who, for example. I remember at some point I was working on Soweto TV, and I was trying to convince a client to spend on Soweto TV. Guys, those who grew up guys and know what Ispikos is cool, baked beans. And for me, I found it like, what do you mean? This is not the target market. So things have changed. Things are changing, and I hope that things will continue to change even more. And I hope that even more and more black people will actually show interest in the advertising industry, because it is an industry that is not so well known. And whenever I meet people who are in the industry, I always ask the question, so how did you find out? For me, it was by default. How I got into media actually was that I used to sing. Yep, I used to sing. I studied music at National School of Arts, and I was in a girl group. It's a girl group? No, it is a girl group, or girl band, called Cherry at the time, with Leanne Dlamini Kirsten and a friend of ours, Nolo Khatla. And we were the first group that Zweibal at the time, when he was branching out and making or creating his own music what you call it, company, he then signed us up, and then I went on to enter idols and whatever. And then my dad was like, okay, sharp grand, I see you like this music thing, but you need something to fall back on. And at the time, I remember Fresh was the ambassador for Boston Media House, and there were all these ads that were playing, and I was like, let me go and see what this Boston Media House thing is about, because one thing I didn't want was to go and study something that was too far off what I had chosen, which at the time was music. And when I got there, I saw, they've got sound engineering. I was like, perfect. And then they had public relations, and for some reason, my dad just thought public relations was like the best thing since sliced bread. And I was like, okay, keep him happy, keep myself happy, whatever. And I studied it. Boston Media House was actually a very great place to study. Little did I know that I'm studying media and I'd actually end up working in media. What are the chances? Right? Because growing up, I've always been an entrepreneurial person. I'd always go on like Boma Small Street or wherever in town, and at some point I even used to fly all the way to China and Hong Kong and go and buy stuff and bring it back this side and sell it. And that's how I would make money. I've always been the type of person that's like, I cannot tell it. What can I do to bring money in, Because my dad has always been the type of person that's like, don't bother me about money for fashion. Like, if you are coming here to ask me for money for like a textbook or whatever, anything school related, okay, sharp, we can have that conversation. But if you're coming because you say you're gonna leave the Spice Girl shoes, no, I don't know. And so I learned from a very early age that, oh gosh, if I want to have nice things, I'm gonna have to work. And I've always been the type of person that's worked, and I cherish the lessons that I've gotten from all the different industries that I've worked in, like the little jobs that I've done, whether it was music, whether it was product promotions in like malls and centers and shops, and even now in advertising. I appreciate every single thing that I'm learning as I go along. And that's the thing, you have to be open-minded with everything that you do. People want to go and they want to study something and say, when I leave here, that's the only job I'm willing to get. Sometimes there's going to be a detour. I studied media, but I ended up my first job. Was it my first job? Let me think. Yes, my first job was as a communications officer at the South African National Blood Service. I did that for a few months. It was a temporary situation. And then I went a few months without a job after that. And then I went and I worked at the SABC. I was part of the TV licenses department, guys. I was the girl that used to write you letters and say, dear Mr. Kuzwayo, you owe this much money because you are in possession of a television set and you have not paid since, I think we used to also state how long you've had the TV for, you've been in possession of the TV, and we would literally calculate from whatever year up until the date, okay, you owe this much, please note that, you need to pay, or else. I can't remember what those letters used to say, but that was what I used to do, and I did that for about, I think, 3 years. I did that for 3 years up until I saw an ad for a sales role, and I went there. I had no media experience whatsoever. To be honest, I didn't even really know what I was interviewing for. All I knew is that they were looking for someone who could sell, and I was like, you know what? Yes, I've never sold TV before, but I've sold stuff before. I've sold a heck of a lot of stuff before, and I know that I'm an entrepreneurial person. You don't need to watch over me. I'm independent. I'm pretty good with people. Like I can walk into a room. Sometimes, yes, certain people I do find intimidating, but in general, I am the type of person that can walk into a room and actually start a conversation or just like get along with people, right? Went to the interview. And this man, Marco Velosa, who I must say I owe a big thanks to, because I don't know why he employed me. I am pretty sure there are other people who are much more experienced than I was that walked into that interview, but for some reason he chose to give the job to me. And the reason I'm also saying a big thank you is because I went for round 1 with Marco, and he asked me all sorts of things, and I remember no, dude, I used to go to Small Street, and I used to sell this, I used to sell that, and I've flown to this place, and I think without me realizing, and now as I'm saying it, I realize why he would have employed someone like me. He needed someone who understood that they were going to be selling something that was a hard sell. Because Soweto TV at the time, I'm not sure now because I don't work on the station, but at the time I used to walk into an advertising agency and people would just see TV. They wouldn't say, oh, this one is from community television, so let's treat her differently. Like literally you would have your DSTVs, your SABCs, your ETVs, whatever, all there, and here you are, this little tiny person walking in from Soweto TV. Let me tell you something about the industry, media industry back then. You would walk in and the DSTV rep would have cupcakes for everybody, branded cupcakes, or some magazine company, whoever, would be hosting a braai outside, and here I am, I don't even have a cent, guys. I can at least stop sweets, right? Because my manager at the time did not believe in all of that stuff. He was like, listen, we are not going to do all that fluff. It's either we sell it or we don't. It's either they buy it or they don't. And so you can understand, because as much as I'm not saying that it was bribery, but you can also understand that then those people became top of mind because people seem to like that stuff. And it's something that has been a bit of an irritation for me over the years being in the industry, because some people do cherish things like that. They forget, or by the way, their role is to deliver a service to their client. As much as I'm also coming to sell my product is also a means of getting to the client's objectives. And so let's forget the fluff, let's forget the muffins, let's forget all that stuff. Let's remember that at the end of the day, you needed eyeballs. At the end of the day, you needed something niche. At the end of the day, you needed something tailor-made, whether it was a cooking program, whatever, something that you could not do on mainstream, that you could do on a community channel. You need a community channel in order to get to certain, target audiences. And so anyway, as time has gone by, I've just learned to persevere. And, the experience that I learned from Soweto TV is one where you had to make things happen, because you didn't have different people wearing different hats, doing different things. Like, you couldn't go and brief this thing into this person. I mean, at some point I used to go and sit on sets. If I've sold a sponsorship, I would go in and sit on the set to make sure that the client's objectives are being met, but also making sure that the producers of the shows are not over delivering. Understand? Because the next time I need to go and pitch this show, I don't want to have the bar set so high and have unrealistic expectations because we did this one thing this one time, and now they're like, yeah, but the last time you had our cans even on top of the car and you shot it, and this guy was opening it from the top of the car. Do you understand? All that all those unrealistic expectations is what I would need to manage, and that's what I would do. I would go and sit there. But I admired the perseverance of the people who worked on Soweto TV, and that's something that I have taken with me to this day. Because Soweto TV at the time used to operate from a school, an old school is Soweto on Vilakazi Street. But things used to churn out. Programs used to be churned out. Like, there was no excuses. Do you understand? Bolerato Kganyago started there. Great names. Lawrence from the river. If I had to mention just how proud I am of Lawrence also was one of those people who started at Soweto TV. When I was at Urban Brew, he would always come to me, hey, it's funny how it's true what they say about your mindset. Because Lawrence was always bigger than Soweto TV, and by that I don't mean that he was arrogant, but he always had a sense of there's more for him. And I remember the one time, he would always be in t-shirts and shorts or whatever, right? And the one time I remember him coming to me dressed in a suit. And he was like, this is my image now. Like, this is what I'm going for. And he was going for an audition for a Coca-Cola show at the time. I can't remember what it was called. And he got it. And then from there, he started bagging shows. And then he ends up on the river being one of the main characters on the river. And wow. Guys, like, I have crossed paths with amazing people in my life. Even at NSA, I've gone to school with people who are amazing. Thabang Moleya. Come on now. Happiness is a 4-letter word. That's Thabang Moleya. And every time I watch TV, there's just amazing. Spiwe Hlabangane, he is one of the producers on Lenga Shoni. He also acts. Brenda Mukwevo, who's one of the producers and directors on House of Zwide. She plays Dorothy on House of Zwide. Ngobile Sipamla, who's also an actor, was an actor in Imbeo. Guys, Leanne Dlamini Kirsten, who's a singer, who's now, I see she does some work with the Mrs. South Africa pageant. She's a mentor. She owns a company called End Girl Hate. Yo, my list could go on and on, but I have crossed paths with amazing people. Tembi Siete's brother, I used to go to school with him, and Tembi Siete at some point was my manager. Me, I see now he's actually on a reality show called, I don't know what it's called, something about diamonds and whatever. Anyway, so Moahi, Tebogo, and I, who were trying to like break into the music industry, and Tembi Siete used to drive us around. You know, the day I meet her again, because I have not seen her in years, I want to thank her, because that lady does not understand just how much she changed my life. Like, Tembi didn't need to do all the stuff that she did, and maybe she did it because her brother was in the group, I don't know, but her heart was big. Like, Tembi would fetch us, would feed us, would negotiate for us. She would, hey man, do you understand? So every single thing in life teaches you something. It's to take you somewhere. And like I say, I have crossed paths with amazing people, but for me, 2023 is about channeling into that energy of understanding where I come from. I think a big part of me became complacent. A big part of me became very much about fulfilling a duty, which is being a mom and being a provider and making sure that children are fed, the school fees is paid, and you know, the routine, mundane stuff. But I think I forgot that I once also was a girl with dreams. I once was a girl who was chasing a whole lot of things. I am a girl who's crossed paths with amazing people, and I think I'm sleeping on myself. A big part of me is like, girl, you are sleeping on yourself. And 2023 is the year we free ourselves of that, right, ladies? We are freeing ourselves of that. I'm rebranding She Millionaire this year. Like, I've been so lazy with my brand. It actually irritates me just how lazy I've been. I need to work on my website. We need to change a whole lot of things on my website. I need to break out of this thing of saying to myself, oh, I'm not a DIY person. It's true, Vela, I don't like fixing things. I would rather pay someone to do stuff for me. I would. But then again, in Cyril's economy, girl, you need to roll up your sleeves and learn how to fix things yourself. So that's what I'm going to be doing this year, fixing things myself. Yeah, man, I will keep you updated on all the things that I have, you know, planned. And I will hopefully also just record that journey with me. But one of the other things I would like to do is find a few ladies who want to start businesses but are feeling a bit stuck. I would like us to form a network. I'd like us to form like a mentorship like circle, and you know, we can just impart knowledge. We can, you know, one thing I've learned about me, I'm someone who is always helping people out. For some reason, I just can't help myself, and sometimes I get irritated with myself because I'm like, girl, just let that person figure it out, but I just can't. I think sometimes your purpose in life are those things that you just find yourself doing without, when you just being yourself, and you just find yourself doing these things. I am that person. I'm always helping people out. One of the things that I'm going to be doing going forward is helping women break out of this feeling stuck thing. Like, there are people with ideas, there are people with things they want to do, but they just don't know what to do. And I'm a connector. I am a connector. I may not be the one who will be like, okay, this is how you do your taxes, but I do know someone who does taxes. I do know someone who designs websites. I do know someone who does strategy. I do know someone. I actually am that person who will connect people. I'm a connector. I connect people. And I think this year, that's one of the big things that I'm going to tap into, of connecting people. But I'm also talking about people who actually want to do things for themselves. Not someone who's going to come empty-handed, cap in hand, like, no. I'm talking about people who want to transform their lives, people who want to do big things, because Linda, I want to do big things. And when I associate myself with you, and you associate myself with me, I feel like great things can only come from that. So let this be the year where we do great things. Let this be the year where we trample on fear, where fear is not even a word. It does not exist in our lives. Let this be the year where we take risks. Let this be the year where it becomes about us. Let this be the year where we don't use our children or our responsibilities as the crutches on which we lean on and become which then become the reasons as to why we do not do the things we want to do. Let this be the year of being bold. Guys, I cut my hair and I never thought I would say, this hair has given me such confidence, because I used to play so much on my hair and my appearance, and guys, and I I don't care who says what. But the other thing is, had I not taken the risk, I would never have known. I never would have known, So yeah, hit me up. Put your comments down below. I would like to hear from you. Like I said, I want to form a network of women who want to change their lives and have a plan. Come with a plan so we can hash it out and see, okay, how do we implement this plan? Stay amazing, stay powerful, stay beautiful, stay confident, stay prayerful.